I'm gonna go ahead and there we go.
Got it. All right. Hi, everybody. I missed some of you yesterday, or was it yesterday? What was it? Over the weekend,
picnic.
Sunday. Yes.
Yep.
So I missed everybody except for whoever the last 5 people were there. Sal was one of them. Shanda was the other one, and
Joseph.
Joseph. Yep. So there was 2 others that were there, stragglers. I think Don was one of them. So, anyways, sorry I missed everybody. I came late. I was napping, and I just couldn't get motivated. So I figured out if I came late, everybody would be there by that time. But ended up being everybody left except for a few people. So I guess they ate and run. A lot of people had other events, and I understand that. So Curtis, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
You're working on your project right now, right?
Principal photography wrapped yesterday.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yep, so it's editing
all
time
editing
now. Yep.
Yep. Mr. Lewis is another guy in the room. He just finished his a couple weeks ago. So he's in the same vein. Let's see. Joseph is more he's on the Star Trek Enterprise, apparently.
Yep.
And Mr. Brian Terry told me that you were coming on. How you doing?
Quite well, actually.
All right. So Brian, what is your most like your function in film? What do you want to do as far as part of this festival or this
Well,
competition?
what I've done before in other 48-hour film festivals is I've done acting and I've done writing. What I want to do is also basically, we talked during our meeting a while ago, and I seem I might have missed somehow missed the invite to the last meeting, but the last physical meeting we had. Basically, I want to learn how to do what you're going to be doing.
Well, what happened was I didn't have your phone number.
Okay,
so I couldn't contact you directly. And Donna and Terry, they've been very busy this summer with other things. So
okay, that's fine. I just know that somehow that's what happened. Anyways, basically, shadow you, do some acting, which is probably what I'm best at. Do some writing, which I'm pretty good at. To be not to brag, but not to be overly modest either. Those are 2 things that I've done before and I know I can handle. And basically learn a little bit about directing and producing.
Okay, perfect. Let me get into my, oh, there it is. I have a spreadsheet that I'm using for who's who, and I want to make sure I'm updated with details of everybody's contacts. All right, so we had people sign up, but not everybody gave them their info. Brian, what's your telephone number?
I'll put it in chat for you. I was just about to, Bessie, get down. My cat here wants to climb on my lap.
No problem.
One of my cats.
One of the things we do too is we have this form, and I put it in the chat. So if you have not filled it out, please fill that out. It'll give me all that stuff, so I have it ready. And if there's any issues, my contact should be on that special page I made just for 48 for this year. Every year I create one, and I'll put that in the chat. You can always go there for what's the updated information on what the game plan is in case you fall behind for whatever reason. So thank you for that, Brian. So yeah, basically we're trying to establish a couple things. One of the things we definitely need ahead of time, and we can fill out forms. Jill already knows. She's got to have her SAG paperwork filled out if she's going to participate. Now, right now, I think you're the only SAG right now. So if you could make sure that's filled out beforehand, because that's bulky compared to a one sheet that everybody else has to fill out. Okay. Everything else is pretty simple. So just have that filled out when you report for duty.
Okay.
I asked Shanda if she's interested in at least helping me as like a PA to make sure we have all of that stuff together.
Yeah,
So,
would I be like looking at a computer, or would it be like paper printouts that I collect to make sure everybody
It's got to be paper because we're gonna have to scan it and send it in
Okay. 'cause everyone
as a
has-
digital file anyways. Yeah, everybody's got to sign it and all that. So
Yeah, I
there's-
could help with that on that Saturday or whatever.
Yep. I mean, it'll be a multitasking moment, you know, for you. We want to give everybody that wants to be on screen time. We can't guarantee everybody's lines that we might provide will be available for the final cut for the actual thing. But what I'm doing now that I have more free time is doing a post edit to give like a longer version of all these competition films that we've done to give everybody that screen time with those lines we gave them originally. So those will be available after, you know, a couple months. So just be aware of that. But I mean, in my mind, and in what's comfortable for me and for writers especially, it's probably going to focus on 5-6 characters that are the main characters maximum. A lot of other people, they're going to be background, maybe a one-liner, that type of thing. That's okay to have those kinds of things, but we're not trying to give everybody lines and I get burnt out like I did last year. And just make sure everybody's got everything the way they want it. And now I want to help. I want everybody to get what they want out of this. I don't want to be the dictator type of guy, which I'm not. But when it comes to turning in something at the end of the day, whatever is going to make sense is what we're going to submit. And that might cut some lines, that might cut some screen time on some people, but that's how that works.
Well, it's
You still
limited
get-
to like 7 minutes, right? Something like that,
Eight
including credits.
eight total, I think. Yeah, credits are not counted as far as that is concerned. And I think it's between 4.5 minutes to 8 minutes that's the window. But you know, anything we do like intro, that doesn't count. Anything we do as credits, that doesn't count for the time. It's the actual, when you start the actual first scene to the end. So, all right. So, anyways, locations, that's really important. I want to get ideas for locations, and I want to get an idea where everybody lives. I don't care where I go. I drive to Florida and back a couple weeks ago, and it's nothing for me to drive. I'll go to Utica if I have to. Again, I don't care. But everybody else being mindful where they live. Gas prices are high. Let's try to think of a place that's possibly centrally located. And I think Amherst area, or at least along Transit, is somewhat, for some people, a central location. But if we can do it closer, maybe Cheektowaga off the interstate, where people have easier access to get around, that might be helpful. But I don't know what you guys have in mind, what you guys have suggestions for locations. I mean, not just, hey, it'd be cool if we did it here. No, I'm talking about, this person, they run the place, they're your good best friend or whatever, you've known forever, and they're willing to do it. So that's kind of what I want to get some ideas from all you guys, what you think. Anybody can chime in.
Actually, one thing before we get into this, we've introduced everybody. I think everybody knows each other by now, except Yvette. We haven't heard from you yet.
We did
Hey,
actually hear from
everyone.
her. She was
Hi,
selling something.
I typed in the chat, but that's okay. Hello, everyone.
Hey there.
Are you working at home?
Yes, I'm working from home, so I'm not gonna be able to do too much chiming in.
So I
Mhm.
heard, we heard, yeah, we're trying to figure out what you were selling.
Oh, okay.
Sound like you might have still been at work or something.
Yeah, I'm still kind of at work, but I'm like kind of sneaking off to,
Okay. But
mhm.
what are you interested in doing, like cast or crew, or what you have in
I
mind?
can help. I can like the acting. I can also help with set design.
Oh,
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Make sure you put that on in the form, because that's all gonna give me that information too.
Okay,
Oh,
did you
live
send the
just-
form to my email
It-
or,
It's chat. It's in the chat right now, like the first message.
okay, I'll look for it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll just do it again, just to make sure it's in there. But we also have the main page. Oh, we have the main
The-
page that I use.
Right,
That's
you still,
our landing
you
page.
still, the what plan, the what page?
Oh, how come I sent that to Curtis directly? Everybody, I'm trying to send it to everybody. All right, that's why. So this is the landing page.
Mhm.
Bookmark this on your computers and phones or wherever you can. That's
Okay.
my page for bringing everything together. You can get caught up if you're a little behind or something happens. I show, like the last meeting we did, you can review that. We'll
Mhm.
have this meeting loaded up there too. And then the itinerary is at the bottom, plus my contact information on the bottom of that page. So the itinerary is basically when we figure it out, okay, here's the locations or one location. If we're going to be efficient, it'd be better to just have one location. But
Right.
if something comes up where like we're inspired and we got to do this, and okay, but it has to be locations approved ahead of time. We can't wait until that night and say, hey, we were just wondering if we can use your backyard for, a couple hours. No, we got to do that ahead of time, because then we know this place is open from 4 to 8. We got that time to shoot. We hurry up and we get that done in that time frame. So
Okay.
now I want to shoot as early as possible and wrap as early as possible. I don't want to get it into the wee hours of the night on Saturday. There is possibility if we have writers that are, are snappy,
Mhm.
that we could get something filmed even in the evening Friday, if something, if
Okay.
the opportunity presents itself.
Okay, I won't be able
So-
to meet up. I'm sorry, I won't be able to meet up with y'all that Friday, but that Saturday and Sunday, I'm pretty much open. But I'm assuming you want everything filmed up by Saturday, right?
Yeah, we want to make sure the edit is starting even that evening. We want to have dump files into the hard drives of whoever is going to be working, make sure it's backed up, make sure we don't lose nothing.
Okay.
So, but the form is on that page though, just so you guys know, and I'm going to put this up there again. And I don't know why. So if you haven't filled the form out, fill this form out in the chat. Again, that landing
Okay.
page is right above that. And that gives me all your details so I can contact you if something happens. And now I'm not going to
Okay.
chase people down if
Right.
we said we're going to be here at 1 o'clock and you can't be there till 4. You should have told me that before that. Your availability is very important to know when that
Right.
is. So whoever's there is going to be part of it and the story.
Okay.
We
Okay.
just got to move fast on these types of things. Now, ideally, we want people who have character, who are bigger than life on camera for bigger than life characters, and sometimes small for people who are small characters. So we'll just see how that works out. Now, we can't create anything right now. We can't come up with something creative right now. The only thing we can do, get our paperwork in order way before we start this thing.
Right.
And then as far as casting goes, I'm gonna do kind of like the people who signed up from even the other group I did last year. If somebody wants to be a part of it, I'll probably do like a one-on-one chat or some sort of communication with people that I haven't talked to already. And
Okay.
I'm not going to say I'm demanding, but if somebody wants to be on camera, we also need you to help off camera with at least one function. We're
Right.
not saying that you have to run the whole thing, but if we have you on camera, you got a couple lines and you got a good character, we also might need you to do the boom pole. Hang on, Mariah. Stay right there.
Right.
I'm sorry, my daughter's about to come up here in a second. Just so Curtis, do you have anything you want to share first before I got to attend to my daughter real quick? Give me 1 second.
So I don't have anything I need to share at this moment. I just updated the form online to submit my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have that if you're, or I guess they
Filled
should.
the form out already, so hopefully he has like proofs or whatever.
So I don't have anything as far as, because I live out in Rochester, so there's not really, I don't think there's much I could offer in the way of locations.
Oh,
I'd
wow.
be joining you guys basically, wherever you guys decide to. Decide to establish the shoot. I mean, does anyone have a,
Kurt, I got a question, Kurt. I've never participated in a 48-hour in 3 days. How
Mhm.
long are the shifts? Like Shawn said, he may want people at a certain place like 1 o'clock. So does that mean they're going to be there for 12 hours, 8 hours? That's what I'd like to know because I've never done it like that.
It
When I did
it
it,
shouldn't take
Assume
that.
you'll be there all
It
day
shouldn't take that
Saturday.
long. It shouldn't really take that long. I know 12 hours. It didn't take us 12 hours last year. You know, as long as everybody don't play around and we just try to get things done, it won't have to take as long.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll have all our ducks in a row. We're not gonna demand people to be there 24/7. You know, I'm gonna be there no matter what. And then we'll have a set time, like, okay, for this scene, we need these 5 people, and this is what we're gonna do. And we'll need people to be ready, you know, at any time though, because we don't know what kind of schedule we'll set up until after the script is done.
Right.
But, you know, crew technically will be there all weekend. You know what I mean? So, and if we have a couple people that can do a boom mic, then nobody has to be there all the whole time. But we got to make sure we have double of everybody in the crew so that it's not going to be a major problem for me.
Right.
That's pretty much all I'm saying. You know, no, you don't have to be there the whole time, but the whole point is you got 48 hours to do this thing, and it's a team effort. It's not one man show, and it's not, you know, 20 actors with one crew person,
Mhm,
you know. Yeah, I'm not going to do that ever again. That was the last time.
mhm.
It was fun. Trust me, we had a good time, but I was burnt out after that.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
So
yeah.
in terms of a rough schedule, are we basically looking at writing Friday night, possibly Saturday morning, shooting Saturday, and then is Sunday going to be editing all day, or do we think there'd be any last minute shooting or recording Sunday morning?
I don't think we need pickups for Sunday. I mean, if we need to do
Mhm.
anything, it would be like at ADR or something really bad audio
Okay.
somewhere, and somebody can send an audio file to us. But
All right.
I prefer to have all that, you know, we wrap for everybody, cast and crew, before Saturday night's done, and then start that process of editing, and this way that's turned in. So, but I really don't like to shoot 2 days.
Okay. So basically the plan is filming is
Writing.
Saturday. So,
Exactly.
yep.
Call time roughly will be 9 a.m. Right here, it just depends on the writers. Typically, the writers will write. They'll send it in on the Google Drive that we're going to share. All the actors can look at it at 6 a.m. You know, hopefully that's the deadline that they make. All the actors at 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. They look at the lines that are given, characters, all that stuff. We have any questions, whatever, if you need 8 in the morning, we can do it online, and we'll have this is a scenario, it's not set in stone. So 8 a.m. I'll talk to whomever, all the actors maybe on the Zoom call. 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. we do our call sheet will be finished, and call times will show up on all that for whomever we decide to do whatever.
I just
So,
want to comment. I have to tip my hat off to the actors because they're gonna have a very very tight time in which to turn over what they read. I give you guys a lot of credit for that.
it's everything, cast and crew. It's all about thinking quick, making quick decisions, just doing it. And hopefully people enjoy it when it's done, turned in. So everybody has great personality in this team. Everybody's got a lot of skill sets on this team. And the only reason why I agreed to do it is because Terry said he can't do it, and I know a lot of other people had their other independent projects. So hang on, Mariah, you stay there. It's tough. I have this 20-year-old autistic daughter of mine that sometimes thinks that it's her show every time I'm on Zoom. So she wants to say hi to everybody, but she's not decent off camera. So, Kurt, fill them in on what the process is for people who don't understand.
About the 48.
Yes.
Okay. So just so that everybody knows, the way that for those of you who don't know, the way the 48-hour film project works is that Friday night, which I think is at 6-something p.m. There's a big old meeting where all the teams show up at a certain location and are assigned the ingredients that they got to work with, whether it's a line of dialogue, a prop, a genre, a character name. You're given the parameters that you need to work within. And that's basically to require so that for a fact that everybody was actually shooting the movie this weekend and not like 3 months ago or something. And you've got 48 hours from that point to write something based on the parameters you've been given and shoot it and edit it together. And a playable version needs to be submitted to the organizers by the deadline. Sometimes they're a little lenient because of like computer issues or something, but you don't want to count on their generosity. You want to make sure that your stuff gets finished in time to be adequately delivered by the deadline. I think the BMVM movie last year, I think we made it with like less than 30 seconds to spare.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were tight, even like another group I know, like not called Composed Image anymore. Luminary Figures, I think they were like 3 minutes before or something like that. So everyone was pretty tight on just getting it in.
And so there's a great range of sophistication and ambition. I don't know how many of you have been to the 48-hour film project screenings before, where you get to see what people have made. And sometimes they've really done amazing work. Like, how did they get that location? Where did they get those props? I mean, and this is why having a couple things planned in advance is a good thing. So maybe we want to pool not only, Shawn asked if anybody's got interesting locations that they might have access to. I think another thing to ask would be, does anybody have access to any any unique props that they think might be of interest? That's another thing that we can consider, or interesting costumes. So does anybody have anything that they know that they can provide or access in terms of locations or costumes or props?
I have some props. I have a collection of swords. I have a musket hanging on the wall over here. Let's see. I've got an actual, it needs cleaning, but I have actual New York City cop's coat, one of the double-breasted ones. I picked it up at a flea market because it was just too cool to not have.
Okay.
I have I have a thing about edge weapons, so I have a whole collection of swords,
Hmm.
including a big ass Bowie knife. Probably a few other things. That I have a small harpsichord, but I don't think it doesn't really look like an antique one.
Hmm.
And a bunch of small weird items, including a trebuchet about this tall, a model trebuchet.
I've heard the word trebuchet, but what is that?
It's medieval, basically an evolved catapult where it uses the big weight to pull down on the arm and throws the rock at the
Oh,
catapult.
it's a catapult.
Technically, yes and no, because they're
Okay.
technically different, but yeah, basically.
Okay. It's like a miniature, like a scale model, like toy sized, basically.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay.
Right over here. Plus, I got 100 musical instruments.
Hmm.
So we could do a band. We have lots of people.
Mhm.
The
That
trebuchet,
is so cool.
and I
that
got
is
this
so
too,
cool.
among other things. It's a gargoyle.
That
All
is so
right.
cool.
Gargoyle, cool. Can you show the? I missed the trebuchet. I think the zoom switched cameras or something.
Oh, that
Oh,
is so
there we
cool.
go.
That is
There
so
we
cool.
go.
I hope you
And,
can find a use for that. Yeah, that
Even
is so.
functional. Hmm.
I think what last year's prop
It
that we
doesn't
used to
fire, but
incorporate
the
was the
musket.
ball. Oh, cool.
The mainspring's broken, so it won't fire, which is
All right.
probably just as well, because it's not a very good one. You might blow yourself up. It exists.
I mean, the first thing that when I look at the stuff you have, my first thought is, either some kind of time travel story, like encountering different people from like medieval times or 17th century, or because it seems like you got stuff from different eras. Your New York City cop coat, does that look like it's from like 1920s or 30s or teens or something like that?
Anywhere from that time up to the 50s, to 50s or 60s when they did away with the double-breasted coats. It's a long winter coat.
Okay.
I got somewhere I think I have a hat that would pass that I picked up at a flea market to go with it. I don't have any badges.
Oh,
Find something to fake a badge.
okay.
Kurt, will the judges perform give the genre, whether it's a comedy, thriller, or mystery, or will they provide that, or do we do that?
They
I think
I don't
people
think I've
draw
ever-
it, right?
yeah, basically I mean there are some things where everybody's given the same assignments, and there's some things where different groups are assigned something different.
Right. Yeah, I think the genres were like, at least last year, everyone was like picked a number or whatever, and you found out. So you got two genres, but you only had to use one.
Right.
And then everybody had the same prop, which last year was a ball. And I know for like one of the like the New York City one, it was like salad tongs or something. But
Mhm.
everyone gets one prop. Everyone gets one line of dialogue they have to use, and everyone gets like one person who has a certain occupation.
Mm.
Last year was like Justin or Justine Finch or Fitch or
Yep.
something like that. That was
Yep.
had to be a plumber.
Yeah.
So you just have to tie that in somewhere.
Mhm.
And they actually have to be a person, because I think one group had gotten they had a really good movie, but they were disqualified because they just mentioned the plumber
Mm.
and didn't actually have the person come on
Oh,
as a
they
character.
had to be a character. They had to be a character in like on screen or something.
Yeah, because I think it was like a cast of like two guys, so they were talking about like how like someone's girlfriend had cheated with whatever Justin Fitch or whatever the plumber's
They're
name was, but
superheroes,
they didn't have a person playing
Mm.
Justin, so they were disqualified. But they showed the film because it was still good. They just couldn't be.
Do you know
Considered
what
to,
film that was?
I
It
don't
was one of
remember
the two
name.
guys talking, I think. And I don't remember which day it was on because I went to both of the screenings last year. But it was like two
Okay.
guys, and then like I think one had the power to like erase the other's memory or something and kept starting things over because he was trying to.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good
Yeah,
one.
that is right. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
That
he
would've
had
been
had
an
a crush
award
on his
winner for
friend
sure.
and kept starting that part over or something like that.
That
Oh, I
would
know
have
what
been
you're
an
talking about.
award
That
winner.
that soap opera thing. The soap
Mhm.
opera one.
Oh, the two guys. It was just two guys, and they didn't mention a name.
Yeah, or
That's
they
all it
mentioned
was.
it, but just, yeah, the plumber was
The
not an actual
occupation.
character.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't, because like neither one of the two guys was the plumber, and so they mentioned
That
him,
is right. I remember that movie. I know
but he
you're
was
talking about, like, the
disqualified because it wasn't an actual person in their film.
Mhm.
All right, so
Oh,
Sean,
man.
we've learned that Brian has an interesting variety of props, including musical instruments, swords, harpsichord, a miniature catapult or trebuchet, an old-timey looking New York City cop coat, and a Bowie knife.
And a
So-
musket.
And a musket.
Yeah,
Yep.
I actually, I
That's
have
cool.
access to 2 working muskets.
Working ones,
Oh
cool.
my God,
Yeah.
the movie's
And,
It doesn't
practically
work, it's
making
just a wall
itself.
hanger.
My son is a Civil War reenactor, so I've got 2 working muskets and
Oh, who's
and all the
talking?
costumes.
Oh,
So
Kurt's
if
right
we-
then. We could do something with time travel and like people with
Oh,
like Civil
definitely.
War things and muskets can come
Well,
in.
a period piece is a genre,
One of the
so
choices.
that's possible.
Yeah, if they
Mm.
want a period piece.
Okay,
But boy,
okay.
that would be a hard one to pull off, the full period
Yeah.
piece. 'cause
The
costumes are
locations
a
and
Yeah.
everything
nightmare on
else, if
that.
you had cars going
Mhm.
by and stuff.
Right.
Well, if you're firing muskets, you got to be away from everything. They're
Yeah.
loud. But
If you're doing a period piece of like Civil War, all you need is a big open field away from the cars.
yeah,
Someplace where they won't see them.
But it's
Yeah.
gotta be a
Yeah.
property that somebody owns,
Yeah.
that we have permission, and it has to be signed by the property owner.
There always is that,
Mhm.
isn't there? Yeah, because this requires releases, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
done
mean,
one.
gotta do it.
You know, they want to
May-
release everything. Okay,
I mean, maybe what we want to avoid actually firing the firearm if it's not absolutely
and
necessary.
I'm not sure if we even could without, because there's all kinds of regulations about where
Yeah.
you can, unless you're in the country.
We'll go to
You can't
Hokel's
always private
house.
property in the country, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to Miss Hokel's house and blow some muskets. How about that?
There you go. But
All right, so just so we're clear, the people who we got on now, Curtis, what is your, I know actor, of course, but what's your
Mhm.
function apart from that you like to utilize for this?
Let's see. I mean, I can help out with, I mean, I've done camera work. I could, do sound or hold a boom pole if the boom pole is not super heavy.
Oh, it's real light, yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
okay. All right. And I do have some lights if nobody has lights. So I might be able to help out there. I do have
I got 3, they're decent size, they're like, I don't know, they're like 6x8s or something like that. Roughly.
okay, so you've got movie lights?
I got 3 of them, LEDs,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
I do have a backdrop for if you want to do green screen. I've got a green screen backdrop and the thing to hold it up. And I've
Okay.
got a couple other types of backgrounds. Like I've got a glittery green sequin one, which I used on my most recent movie. And I've also got a black backdrop and a white backdrop. So if we end up doing anything that needs somebody against a certain type of backdrop, that's
Got it
a
covered.
possibility.
So
Yep.
I have the same backdrops as you're describing, except I don't have the green sequence because that one doesn't come with the set.
Mhm.
But that's a cool one. I like the green sequence one. That'd be fun to use. Yeah. So, and I've got some lights, but not many.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna look through the pages to remind myself what we gotta make sure we got.
Who is your writing team then? 'Cause like Brian said, he does some writing. You do some writing.
Well, we do have two people that are considering, the first meeting we had as writers. And I want to remember their names first. Give
I
me,
could, yeah, I could help out with the writing, but I'd also be content to let somebody else do it.
yeah, I think we had two people that want to do writing and editing the last
Okay.
meeting, but I prefer to have teams, maybe two people that focused on writing. You can have some other people in that meeting contributing, that kind of thing. And I'm also going to sit in on that process.
Like
And I'll-
brainstorming or something.
Right. Put my 2 cents in, but allow them, they do the writing. And
Excuse me, Sean, I'd like to see if it's possible to just to observe them writing as well. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them observe writing as well, if it's possible.
well, to see if they're going to actually be in a physical space to do that. We'll find from now until we launch, we'll figure out our meeting space, like our home base for Friday night. And if nobody else can show up, then they'll just watch. They're going to launch everything they're going to announce on the website after we're done with our virtual meeting. I think that's what we're doing this year, like we did last year. Jordan,
That's what I was
just
gonna
did a-
ask. Is it is the Friday stuff virtual or is it live?
No idea. We'll know once it gets closer to it, but it looks like it just says kickoff. There's no time or place other than 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. is the kickoff event. That's all it says on our page. So Jordan didn't really disclose anything beyond that on the website. So our team, wherever I am, I'm going to be watching it live if it's not an in-person event. If it is an in-person event, more than likely I'll be there. So like we did in the past, it was over like at the zoo or wherever at Delaware Park's golf course, clubhouse, right there up the road from the zoo itself. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with the area. But anyways, it was a clubhouse that, people that play golf or whatever, caddies all pull up to it. And that's where we had our meetings before in the past. And sometimes it was a packed house with, almost 25 teams, 26 teams all in one room. And all the people who are part of the teams and all that stuff were there. But the team leaders usually have to make sure they're there for that type of event. So I'll definitely be there if it is an in-person. If it's just virtual, then he'll just do like a Zoom like we're doing, but it would just be team leads with Jordan. And then we just, whoever's with me in the room can be there with me, wherever I'm at to watch this process. We had the whole team almost in my church when we were doing it last year. And we were all sitting there and watching it live. And we had this big group. I was scared. I was like, man, it's all women, man. What's going to happen with our thing here? It's going to be dominating. Like I can't write for women. How am I going to make this work? So not saying I couldn't, but I'm not a writer. I don't claim to be, and I don't even want to be. Just give me a script. I'll direct. I'll tell people how to feel. If you're going to cry, give a mean look. That's my expertise. I'm a good producer too, but it's hard to do both. So it's good that people want to learn because they can be assistant directors. This is going to be great. This is a needed function. And then also assistant, production assistants, and then people who are willing to just be a part of crew. So all that's going to be relevant, and it will give everybody time to be on screen that wants to be. But I'm not going to guarantee lines. That's the writer. The writers are going to pick out these certain people. And I might even say, okay, I want to explore these 5 people on the script, kind of write for them. We'll have the ideas once they give us the characters, the scenarios, all that stuff. We'll have more idea of how to create it, but you just never know. Like it just comes to you once the elements are given to us. Then we're like the brainstorming is going on. The genre really determines all of it because it's a level playing field for every team. You all have the same character name, either a male or female version, same occupation, the same lines that have to be said, the same prop. So everybody has that. And then once we start picking genres, that's when it really gets creative. And you have two options that you can choose from, and you can use both if you want, choose it. But, you know, it's probably wise to just focus on one of the genres. But you can make it work if you included another part of that genre. You can do two different genres. One of them has to be one of those two that your team picks. Go ahead, Brian. Are you waving your hand?
No, I just
Oh, okay.
scratching my eyebrow.
Okay. So, any questions? I know Jill is a bona fide veteran in this whole deal, and I know Kurt is a bona fide veteran doing all these things. I've had David Lewis on a different project that wasn't the 48 once before, and we had a good time with that. So, but this is it's exciting, you know. Me personally, now as a normally what I will do when I'm involved in, some people do know, some people don't. I do a faith-based film festival here in Buffalo, and I'm not saying we have to do faith-based projects. I do want to make sure that we have something that's at least the kids can watch. You know what I mean? We could still be goofy. We can have fun. I mean, that's just my preference. Now, if you guys get out of hand, you know what I mean? I don't know what I could do about that. But my preference is family friendly at the very least. Because, you know, when we present this to other people, we want to be proud of what we did as we get older, or as we have siblings or relatives or co-workers. Some people have jobs, you know, and we don't want to embarrass people in a project that could compromise their occupation. So that's the only thing I'm, you know, my desire is, my focus would be on. Other than that, I mean, if Kurt ever uses like his puppet to kill somebody in it, you know, hey, whatever, I don't know. Whatever happens, happens at that point. I mean, I'm a fan of films. George Lucas is my buddy, you know, that's the guy I like. And I wasn't a big horror flick fan. I think maybe because I got scared when I was a kid and I was traumatized and, you know, never grew out of it. I don't know. But that's just not my genre. If we get horror as one of our options, we can make it work. It's no big deal.
Should always make it a horror comedy. I know that your comedy is your favorite, right?
Well, yeah, comedy is my shtick. So, which is why I really like Kurt, his character last year in his film. He was hilarious, you know. So that's kind of the lines I want to stay with, is family friendly and comedy, just lightheartedness. Don't take it too serious. You know, I have ideas too that we can implement that would be really fun, but we can't get creative at this point. You know, everything's concrete stuff right now. So, Kurt, can you think of anything that we never really mentioned yet? Or I know you talked a little bit about some things off camera when I was gone.
I was just trying to see. Again, I was asking who, well, apart from just explaining the way that the 48-hour time limit works and the parameters, just kind of taking a little inventory of seeing, you know, who's got interesting props that they think we could make use of. And Brian expressed that he had a lot. And I don't know if anybody else had anything that they wanted to volunteer, and probably also be a good idea if anybody has location that they can volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
I asked
Again,
my
I can't
husband
have
about using our house, but he said he'd prefer not to, but if
You
we
know
don't
what?
get any place, I could ask again.
Tell him that
We're gonna be stuck in
weekend,
the basement with a green screen.
no, tell him that weekend we'll send him on a vacation somewhere that and he won't even, he doesn't have to know.
Have to get my kids out too. Of course, they always just stay in their room. They'd be on the second floor.
They probably won't even know we're there. Just tell them, just go play games. They'll probably think there's something wrong with you, but mom's saying, go play games. That's
And
crazy.
near, of course, I live like in Wheatfield, so I don't know if that'd be like a big drive for people. And then like near my house, there's like there used to be an access street when they used to be doing construction on the road. Now it's blocked off. So there's like looks like a dirt road in the middle. You probably can't get a car there, but if we needed like creepy looking open space.
So you've discouraged us enough, so we won't go any further with that idea.
I'm just saying, depending on what kind of genre we got.
No worries. But yeah, just keep feeding me leads for places to do this. I need that above all things. And we want to, Curtis, where do you live again?
I live in Brockport, which is in Monroe County.
And Brian, where do you live?
North end of South Buffalo. Do you know where Seneca Babcock is?
Yes, and I'm on Seneca Hammerschmidt. So we're just
Okay,
down the road from each other.
Okay, yeah. Oh, and if we need something that looks like an abandoned quote or haunted house, this house is a rental and the downstairs is yet to be done. It needs to be down to the studs and start over, so that would work.
Well, do you own it?
Yeah, free and clear, in fact.
You own it, okay. Well, that's
Free
an
and clear.
option. So if you prepare that ahead of time, if you own it, then you can sign the paperwork stating this is available.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
So,
the downstairs is a haunted house or anything like that will work.
so it's also on my main page that I share with everybody, but that's the Buffalo 48-hour film projects page where you can get all your paperwork from. So go through all this, especially if you're going to be director or producer with me. Go through this, know the paperwork. When we get props, you got to fill out paperwork for props. When you get locations, you got to fill out paperwork for that. As an actor or crew, you got to fill that paperwork out. So Joseph and Brian, get familiar with that part. You know, I have a feeling that really my whole purpose this year is prepare BMVM for next year to not need me for anything. That's really what I feel like it's going to happen.
Where do we find the release forms?
I just put it in the chat.
They're in the chat, all the release forms?
No, I just put the link to where the landing page for
48-hour
competition. And you'll see production documents is where you're going to look up under that page. Get familiar with every link. Just study this page like it's your best friend. You get all this information. Next year, it's going to be like, oh yeah, I did that. I know how to do that, blah, blah, blah. So that's really my goal is not to do anything but prepare everybody who, I mean, besides Curtis, he's been a part of this already, but whoever wants to do this next year can do it and, you know, represent BMVM next year. So my goal is just to make sure people learn at the end of the day. So,
Okay.
but of course, have a good product that we can win an award or two, you know, hopefully. That's also another goal. But as far as everybody that's participating, my goal is to make sure you guys are comfortable with taking the team on next year. That's it. So now, as a producer, director, or team leader, you know, if you have an actor that is a union actor, which means SAG-AFTRA, they have to fill out special paperwork in order for them to participate. What that does, though, it also limits distribution of the product after the event. So, so we have a contact that's specifically from the SAG organization, the union, with the 48-hour film project countrywide. Every country has their own representative for unions. So our American Union rep will be our point of contact for this specific project that we're doing. And we can't distribute it like a normal project. Like if everybody else was not union on your team, it doesn't matter. There's no restrictions. And it's other than the whoever is the production owner of it, like the team leader usually. And then also Jordan Lima, who's the Buffalo City producer. The city producers have some say so in, you know, some things, but not, if you did the production, you own it, you can do what you want with it. You got a union actor, it limits distribution of it. And you just have to communicate with the SAG personnel with that.
You
And I
just
don't
need
think,
permission or something, right?
well, yeah, it's more involved than that. If you go beyond, you can't sell it. You can't do anything like that. But and there's payment. You gotta, like Jill, for instance. If I do decide I want to get it distributed, I clear it through the SAG rep. They give us permission to do it. But there's a way we have to pay our actor. That's a SAG actor. There's like a $120, $5 day rate or something, could be more now. But we have to pay a day rate for that work once we start getting into the distribution side of things. So it's a little bit more complicated post the event. But while we're doing it, free and clear, we can do what we want. The 48-hour film project as a whole can do what they want with it in-house, but they can't distribute it without the SAG rep also signing off on it. That's like going to Cannes Film Festival, that kind of thing. You know, we
I
try
think
to
actually a
big.
lot of teams have at least one SAG person though. So I think most groups are in the same boat.
Some people, yeah.
Question,
Some people
Shawn.
are just all, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Who is the official producer whose name goes on the forms? You?
Well, it's called a team lead, which just means I just became the person that says, okay, here's our group. And then we just decide through that producer, director, all that stuff. The team lead doesn't necessarily have to be called the producer. He's just in charge of making sure at the end of 48 hours, the film's turned in. I think last year it was Terry for BMBM.
Whose name goes on the form? Yours?
Well, initially, yes, but all the forms will be individually, and then we have a team form at the end of it as well, that the
Okay.
team lead is responsible for filling in. So, like, for instance, when it comes to IMDb, that is separate. We can put all that stuff in later and even add to our form after we turn it in, that kind of thing.
Oh, I was just
48.
starting. I was looking at location release form. I was starting to fill it out.
Okay, good.
Asking about who's producer.
We put my name down for now. You know, it's
I
team
can
lead is
change
the
it
same
later
thing
then,
as,
okay, because yeah, it's an active form. Okay,
yeah, team lead is my name, and I'm the producer at this point. So,
I can leave it blank too if that comes up by producer.
yeah, I can fill it out by hand or whatever if we have to.
Hmm.
So Shanda's gonna help me with that, or Shonda. Is it Shanda?
Shanda,
Chandra?
rhymes with panda.
Okay, Shanda Panda. That's easy to remember. All right, Joseph wants to be part of the directing vein.
I don't, maybe AD, I've never directed before, so I'm not gonna do anything I've never done before.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because that's
well,
the third rail. Don't put me there, don't.
listen, we're not a $2 million budget film.
Okay.
So no worries.
Okay,
You know, whether we call ourselves, you
okay,
know, the big shots or the producer, it don't
Okay.
matter, you know,
okay,
it's irrelevant. But
okay,
yeah, you know,
okay,
position names and titles are just
okay,
minimal at this point, but
okay.
we'll get into that once we start getting together
Great.
on the forms. Kurt is, again, he's been around for a long time doing this. So how many 48s have you participated in?
Let's see. At least 3. uh,
Cool.
at least 3 Buffalo ones. I actually did a New York one many years ago because I happened to be visiting a friend at the
Hmm.
time that it was going on, and he took part in it and invited me to do it. So, but as far as Buffalo, I know I've done at least 3.
Oh, these hit the.
What about Jill?
This will be my third.
Oh, okay. What'd you do before last year's?
It was, they were a theater group that it was their first time doing the 48 hours. I can't remember their name. It was Maddie Sador.
Green
Afrin.
something? Yeah.
That-
Green Door or Green something Productions.
That was the first one. Then you were the second. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they were really nice people, man. They wanted me to be an actor in theirs, and I ended up choosing Daisha Johnson, who is the niece of what's his name? Rick James.
Yes.
Daisha Johnson, her dad, brother with, Rick James. James's last name was Johnson. So, and I think that's Yvette's cousin too, right? I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
I said Rick James is your cousin, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
But his
Never
last
met
name,
him.
his last name is Johnson.
Yeah, that is his birth last name. Yeah, I'm not related to them though.
So that was 2019. So that's when you were on that team. So I was with Daisha Johnson during then as an actor. And I did 2 as an actor before that. And the first one we ever did was Doughy Joe's Dojo. It's called Mr. Imagination. And I was basically just the assistant to a martial artist that was over the top. So it was kind of fun. So that was my introduction to participating 2017, and then caught the bug 3 years as an actor. And I had to help Daisha a little bit because she was pretty high. I had to help her out a little bit and kind of coach her and says, okay, listen, if we don't shoot this now, you have nothing to edit tomorrow. So it was fun. It was great working with her. She was really a blast, so pleasant to work with. And I'm sad to see she moved to Las Vegas, but she's a good, very smart young lady, and it was just a good time working with her. But then that next year, I just decided to start a group. So
That was
Yeah.
fun. It's
Yeah. I had a good time with you, Jill. It was fun.
fun. We all,
All the girls, Yvette, Panda, Jill.
I'll
I'm
answer
sorry,
the most, if it's close, I'll answer.
your name is so easy, and it's me. I'm butchering it. It's my
Well, even
fault.
like in school, every year, like the teacher, and I always know what I was because I had a cousin with the same last name. So they'd say her name, and then there'd just be this big pause. It's like,
Hmm.
I didn't think it was that hard of a name, but there'd be like all
You should
different
have just nicknamed
pronunciations.
yourself Anne so that nobody can mess it up. Probably the best way to do it. Now, Brian and Joseph, you've never done a 48 yet?
I have not with this group. I've done several of them years ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I haven't done them in about 10 years. But I
Oh,
did,
wow.
must have done at least half a dozen back then.
Oh, wow.
I did mine with a Kenton School District Adult Ed. It wasn't 3 days. It was spaced over a couple of weeks. We met each other at the Kenton building and we filmed at night. That zombie movie with Sabrina. That was the first experience I had with any kind of-
Sabrina
Kenneth
Penn,
Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's awesome. She was actually she was a speaker and a panelist on my film festival a couple years ago too, and really impressed with her background.
Yeah, that year, the zombie movie won Buffalo. Was it Buffalo Dreams? Buffalo Dreams, that award ceremony. Yeah, she got an award for that.
Yeah, some kind of a ambassador award or something. I don't know what they called it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
cool.
It was a lot of
And
fun. It was a lot of fun. Trust me.
David, you got any input? Anything you want to contribute? Any
Nope, not at this
questions?
time.
No.
No.
Anybody else have anything they want to say before? Because you got to remember, we're together in this little Zoom call, but other people will be watching this. So we want to make sure that people that do watch this, they look at it and they're like, they get their questions answered on this call versus asking me 100 questions throughout the week, you know? So if Curtis, is there's anything, maybe something else you could think of maybe that we didn't cover yet?
Well, do we think that we're leaning towards filming at Brian's property, or are we still trying to explore additional options?
I mean, 2 locations, you know, would be the most. I mean, I got a house too, so
Okay,
worst case scenario, we have his property, mine just down the road. So that's option 1, if we do it all in South Buffalo. And then maybe we'll do an option 2 if we got everybody closer to North Towns. You know, we'll see if there's something available up there, then we'll find out from other people contributing, you know, location wise. So Joseph, where'd you say you're from again? Where do you live?
Lackawanna, not far
Oh, that's
from where
right.
you live.
So he's close by. Yvette, you're in Cheektowaga, right?
Right, yeah, West Seneca. I'm not that far from like South Buffalo.
Yeah. So David's got a ways to go. Curtis has a ways to go. Jill's
Yeah.
kind of up there in Amherst. And Ann, I mean, Shanda, she's kind of like centrally located. So we'll see what we can do. I really want to get a location that's off the interstate regardless.
Mm,
Somewhere around
Somewhere-
there that anybody can get to, no matter where they're from in the city. You know, they
Yeah.
say
So it's a lot
everything's.
closer than,
Go
so a
ahead.
lot closer than or East Aurora.
Yeah, well, East Aurora is not too bad. Get the 400 to get you there, but
I mean,
but yeah,
I'll,
we're not gonna go down there.
I mean, I'd be driving about an hour anyway, so it doesn't matter to me whatever's
Okay.
convenient for everybody else.
We'll put you
Oh,
up at a hotel.
Just occurred to me, I also have a couple of other houses, one I'm trying to sell. The apartment is empty right now. If we need a more or less vacant apartment, and if we
Oh,
get
cool.
the, excuse the mess, the last tenant was a slob.
Well, we're all
Oh,
moving in
gosh.
there now then. Let's clean that sucker out and make
It's
it
over
our
on the,
own.
As
it's
long
over
as
on the
no
west
road
side
is
of
there,
Hoyt.
I'm good.
The west side. Okay.
Yeah,
What's the address?
290 Hoyt.
Okay, so let's keep that in mind. It looks like
Uh,
that'd be a good little spot.
That one, it actually looks like a real apartment, but it's empty. The downstairs looks like a long abandoned house because it was before I bought this place. It's 2 apartments. The upstairs is what you see behind me. The downstairs, tear it back to the studs eventually and start over and turn it all into one big house. That's the plan. Trying to think of anything. Oh, I'll approach the Seneca Babcock Center, see if I can get them to let us use, because that's just a big, it's a big building. If we just need a building type space to work in.
That's
Worst we
right
could do
off.
is say, no,
It's right off the 190 for those that are in the North Towns.
yeah, it's
That's
right
not
at
too far.
Seneca. It's right at Seneca and Babcock. If you come off the Smith Street, Fillmore, if you're coming from downtown or if you're coming from out Cheektowaga way, you'll want to take the Clinton Street exit and just go down Seneca, you'll get there. You can't
So
miss.
Hoyt is a lot more centrally located. And
That's
it's
by
right,
Buck State.
it's right by Bus State, yeah. And that's right off the 98 or a 190 and in between there with Bidwell. So yeah, right by Buff State would be a nicer centrally located place for, especially for David coming from Niagara Falls. We just don't care about Curtis though. We're not gonna
Poor Kurt.
consider his. Well, everybody will pitch in $1 out of the team to get him gas money. How's that?
That's cool. Where are you
That'll
coming from,
work.
Kurt? You're coming from Monroe County, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the one from Monroe. That's a bit of a drive, especially now with
Yeah.
gas prices up.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I live
the
in
prices-
Brockport, which is basically the western edge. So it's like an hour as opposed to hour 15 for most Rochesterians.
Yeah, who's up close by you too? I don't know if what's her name. I don't think they're involved, but New Fame. They moved to New Fame.
Oh, you're talking about Rhonda and Mark.
Yeah, they got a nice spot up there too.
Yeah, I mean, they're also about an hour from me, so
Mhm. But then
Um,
it'll be a direct shot from you there. But it would be like, for us Southtown people, it'll be, hour and a half, depends on the traffic.
It's
mm,
about a
But that's
half an hour from me.
Straight up,
north of Lockport.
it's straight up transit.
Yeah,
to get there.
right north
So
of
whatever
Lockport.
way I
So,
would take.
so I'm gonna approach them because they got a nice new house but they got, I think they might have relatives that they're helping, but they got a nice downstairs that they bought a funeral home. So they got this huge downstairs, and I checked around the house before. I visited them not too long ago. There's nobody that's being embalmed anymore, so that's a good thing. So we don't have to worry about that. Some stiffs show up behind a closet door somewhere.
That's a
But,
movie. That's good. Put that in your movie.
Stiffs, yeah.
That would
So-
actually sounds like a good genre. An old funeral home,
Mhm.
yeah.
some
I-
suspense or horror thing. Old funeral home, ghosts start happening.
Yep.
Yeah, I made extensive use of that location in my movie. So if they're not completely sick of filming, having spent the last 2 months hosting me, because they were also my camera crew, and they were also actors in the film. So
Nice.
Well, we're giving them a month off from that point. So now it's enough time, I think. I think it's time to get them reactivated.
well,
So-
it was literally yesterday that we
Oh,
did the
okay.
last
Right.
filming at their place.
What are the
So-
dates of our film festival? Again, the exact dates.
28th,
Yeah, my-
29, 26, 27, 28.
And then it's,
So
So
August.
we're
then the filming is
talking
the
11
weekend
days.
following
It starts
Labor
in
Day
11
weekend.
days. So I better get off my ass and make some, go talk to some people.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think
Get
like the
around to
South
it, I'll
Buffalo
see if I
or
can find
Buffalo
who's-
is gonna be more central for most people, so
Would be a
is.
very nice.
I would
look-
count that as like one. Before,
Outside
Yeah.
outside
Well,
location, if you could get to just shoot it, is the old Buffalo Psych Center.
so here's thinking out loud here. Okay, we can also have 2 crews. We don't have to have the same crew at all locations. The
Hmm.
final product is edited, so it could be,
Right.
let's just say we have a Northtown crew shoots in Newfane, Southtown crew shoots in South Buffalo. We talk to this editor and say, okay, here we go, here's our stuff. And then I'm working alongside of them anyways. We could do something like that. The only thing is we would probably consider making sure cameras are similar, at least, lenses and lighting and all that kind of stuff. That's the only thing that we would have to do, unless they're 2 completely different scenes that they're written for. Then it doesn't matter.
So is that assuming that it's different casts, like let's say people on the phone or 2 competing subplots?
Something like
or-
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
Other-
we can
'cause-
fuse.
yeah.
that's a bit of a haul between. For the same
Yeah.
actors to go to 2 places, you're blowing like an
Yeah.
hour in between just to travel.
Mhm.
And we can do, even like a contrast type of thinking,
Yeah, like
between
what
2
if,
different.
one of them is a flashback or a memory or something, then it wouldn't be as important for the footage to match. Like maybe one of
Exactly.
them
Oh, true.
is an old home movie or something that they're watching.
To be
There you
shot
go.
in black and white. That's a
Mm.
real trope, but
There
it's
you go.
done that way all the time.
Again, we're not being creative here, for the record, because I got to fill out a form that says
Mm.
we did not do anything creative before this process. So this is not creative, just so you know.
We're
Mm.
organizing.
We're just thinking out loud.
We're
Mm.
We're
organizing.
we're old
brainstorming.
friends. We hung out forever, we're just,
We
Having
like talking
coffee
about
talk.
funeral homes.
that's
We
right.
just like,
People are dying to get in there.
That's right.
This
Rhonda
isn't the,
spoke
this
at
isn't the
your
creative
thing
part.
last
This
year,
is
huh?
examining our options and preparing to get creative.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the thing. We're preparing to become creative.
We're
to
just
know
talking about
what
locations.
materials
That's
we
all we're
have to
talking
work
about.
with. A painter
So-
doesn't come, painter
This,
getting to
ahead.
paint because isn't being creative. They add until they put the brush to the canvas.
so we can have all these locations solidified before we even get our elements, right? If we decide not to use any of them and then one shows up that's perfect for what we're trying to do, that's one thing. But we can have all this paperwork for 10 locations already filled out before we even start. And then we decide what to do from that point. So it doesn't matter, the more the merrier as far as our resources. As far as props, there's a same thing on the production page. They got fill out what props from whom each person is contributing. They got to write down every prop that they're willing to submit for use. So if you own it, Brian, you got 3 props you're going to contribute before we start.
I have
Then you
dozens.
just write down, a couple, 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. Just have at least that form ready so that when we say, hey, Brian, do you have this? Well, what do you have for this? You just start filling that part out once, once
Well,
it's
we could
time.
have like blank prop forms or whatever on like that Saturday and people can fill out whatever. Cause like you
I'm
said,
gonna
we
have-
won't know even the main
I'm-
prop until Friday night.
We're gonna have
or the
tons of
required prop.
paperwork ready. But yes,
Um,
but if we do plan on using props though, from any of you guys, fill it out ahead of time if you can. Go ahead, David.
for the sake of the writers, if we're gonna say, like, let's say we have 3 locations, we could have somebody get pictures of what those locations look like. Because when you're writing and you go, they're gonna be in a field, in your head, you've got this, wide open field, but it's really a smaller area. It's just good to know what those locations look like. I know
That's a
that's
good
doing
point.
reverse. Usually writers come up with the idea and then somebody has to make that location fit, but obviously we don't have time for that.
Mhm.
So be good for them to have pictures and an idea of what these locations look like.
All right. So email me. All my contact is on that form, that page again. Email me just whatever ideas you got. Doesn't matter. Location, props, and then also take pictures. Brian, if you could take pictures of your inside of the place you want to use or you're willing to use, the outside, I'll do the same thing. I mean, we can get a Google shot of the front, but backyard, garage, or whatever other space you want to use. And then of your other property as well. See, if we could possibly use that space as well. So if Brian, you can do that, that'd be really awesome. That would be so much more help, like David said, for the writers. Joseph, where okay, do you have any location ideas or? Okay,
Nothing that I could author. I live near the Erie County Botanical Gardens. I don't know if we can get permission to film there. I don't know, because I don't
It's
know
a
anybody.
public space, and as long as the city allowed, I think it's a city property, it's no big deal.
Yeah,
We
that's
used
all.
the Hamburg beach area once, we didn't need permission for that because it's a
Fine.
public
That's
space.
the only thing that came to mind, Erie County Botanical
Yeah.
Gardens, because
That's cool. And Jill, we're gonna be at your house too, right? The
Absolutely. I got
after
a lot
party.
of, like old record player and an old like table jukebox. My house is full of, as my husband says, junk. So
Nice. Yeah, just get a
I
bunch
know
of garage
it's
sale. You see my junk in the back.
I love my stuff. But anyway,
You like my little dinosaur that I picked up?
I love
Pretty
it.
nice.
It's
a
beautiful.
It's meant for green screen, so it could be anything. We can turn it into we can turn it into Curtis if we wanted to. Put his face on it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm a prop type of guy. I'm an everything guy. So if I see something I like I bought this little tape player at a yard sale for $5. It's a tape player, but it's in the shape of the 1930s radio.
Oh, cool.
And it just looks just nice, So I was like, yeah, who knows? I might just use that.
I'm always, you know
Yeah.
what?
Well, I don't want to keep it too much later. I know everybody's probably tired and I got things to do. I got appointments in the morning, but yeah, just fill out paperwork, go to the website, get familiar with it. I want you guys that are going to be taking it over next year to get familiar with it. Whether I do this again next year or not, I have no idea. I take it every year, as it comes. because I don't know where I'm gonna be the next minute, so. But yeah, just familiar yourself with the administrative side of it so that you're not shocked when it comes up next year. But specifically for this year, we want to be sure everybody's on the same page. Anybody's listening also right now, please go to our site, the one I designated as our catch-all for what we're doing as a team. Please go to that site. Make sure you get familiar with things. Make sure you fill out forms if you want to participate with our team, and make sure that you, if you got props, you got locations, email me, contact me. I'm going to be available until we wrap and submit it. Then after that, I want to hear from any of you. I'm just kidding. Just playing. No, I want to be here to help and coach and, whatever. Learn from you guys as well. I want to learn. Everybody's got stories and experiences that are all different, and we can learn from each other. And that's why I like doing stuff with people. You learn something new every day, new facts. So that's it. Even Yvette, I learned something from.
Oh, thank you.
She's a National Guard, a veteran, right?
I used to be in the
Army.
National Guard, yes.
Army National Guard veteran. Anybody else a veteran? Brian, what
National
service?
Guard.
National Guard, awesome. And I'm a Navy, U.S. Navy. Of course, all my Marine counterparts, they're our rivals, really, not the Army. Although football-wise, Army's our rival. And that's it. We had some good camaraderie last year. We had 5 veterans on the team, and myself, Michael, who's a crazy guy. You ever meet
Yes.
Michael Curtis?
Michael who?
He
Cecil, I
goes
think
by-
his last name is.
Well,
think it's
Chase is a stage name. Michael Chase. He goes by on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, he was in Clowns in the Woods. Michael
Yeah,
Chase.
okay.
Yeah, he's terrific.
He is really insane, is what he is. But
Well,
no,
he gave a terrific performance in Clowns in the Woods. He absolutely
and
brought the
people
thunder.
that insane can do that. He is over the top, and I always love working with him. The only problem I had with him is that, and if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about, is that sometimes he had the ideas that he wanted to direct the film into, when it's like, no, this is what we're doing. You're the actor. You can be creative, but you're not the director. So sometimes he has a hard time making that distinction. But he definitely wants to be on screen, and he wants to be over the top. And he is good at it. He's a great actor. So won't take that away from him. But yeah, he's funny. He's hilarious, but a little crazy. He's a Marine veteran. What do you call it? The
Right.
referee, Lori, is a Army veteran. And she was like one of the first females that did something in the military. I can't remember what. And then who else? Am I missing anybody?
Tasia.
I can't
Tasia.
think of who.
Tasia was Marine. Yes. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. Unique situation, and we had almost half our team was veterans. And that's it. So what's unique about our team? What would you say is unique about us? Because that's one of the things we have to fill out on the form at the end of the submission. What's unique about us? Who are we? Do we even know yet?
I don't know. We're quirky. I don't know.
Dorky. Yeah.
I said
We're-
quirky, not dorky, but
We're all a bunch of-
you both
said
said-
quirky.
Mm.
I'm just ad-libbing. We're quirky dorks. That's all. How's that? I don't think so.
Good.
No, we could come up with something better than that eventually. So I'm looking forward to working with everybody, man. Like I said, I'm going to be learning too. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do everything I can to help make it smooth, but everybody's got to be all hands on deck. And we might even make Jill the official crafty lady.
You know
Yeah.
what? I would be the crafty lady.
I know you would.
I sure would.
Just make sure you don't have Jack in every one of the Cokes. That's all I'm asking.
No,
Because then
But
we'll get nothing
a lot
going,
of
nothing
Diet
done.
Pepsi, a lot of Diet Pepsi, but yeah, no,
Oh,
Gotcha.
from the wedding, right? Or from that guy's late shipment or something, you have tons of soda.
I do.
Oh, really? So you got to pawn it off on us then. There you go. We got Crafty.
Yeah.
Crafty, if you don't know, that's the people that provide the food service for the teams, you know, on sets. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
that will be ideal.
Yeah, I'd
So
like, absolutely.
if you have any dietary restrictions or allergies, Jill's the person you got to talk to.
Yeah, yeah.
I can eat just about anything, so it don't matter. But
Okay.
some people don't like peanuts because they blow
Yeah.
up, or shellfish or whatever, you know, pork. So
Oh, I'm
Jill's
excited.
gonna,
I'm gonna have a good time doing that.
and that's another credit besides being an actor. Having a Crafty credit makes you even more popular on
Yeah.
IMDb.
Really.
That's where everybody looks for. Who's gonna feed us? Well, let's look and see who does what. Oh,
Yeah,
she
no,
does Crafty. Yes, we'll recruit her. Cool. All right. Anything else? I'm done. I got
Will
nothing
there be
else to
another
say.
meeting before we go live?
No, it's gonna be when we start the thing, and I'll be available for questions. So if it's anything important, just let me know. But 6 p.m. the 26th, we'll just we could do a quick half-hour Zoom before the official launch, whatever that is, if it's a Zoom or in person. So maybe we can do that 6 p.m. at exactly the 26th, Friday. And then from there, I'll let you know what the plan is. And if we can do it at the, you know, we do it down there at the by the zoo again, that'd be great. But Jordan Lima is the one that's gonna have to make that announcement, and we'll follow his direction at that point. That's it. And then if it's something that, like Kurt, you don't want to drive all the way out there just for a meeting, you know, or whatever, we'll figure something out. But talk to our buddies up in Newfane, because, you know, I think it would be great to work with them again. It's been so long that they've been involved, and she likes to be creative, even though you probably ran them, you know, you ran them all the way down to nothing. I'm sure you did, but they still like to be creative. So let's
Yeah.
consider that location, you know, as an option, and ask them to fill out the form if they agree to it. So that's done. And yeah, I mean, hey, I think that'd be a very interesting take. Ours is kind of like a super group. There's not too many groups that are this large, except for the one that won last year, which is a combination of the two teams that won the 2 previous years, which I feel were a little, you know, it's unfair. You know what I mean? I think it's rigged, man. I think they're rigging it, but still, we're probably going to be the largest team, if not second largest, probably. And if we have 2 locations shooting 2 separate types of scenes, you know, that might work, you know, and this way people not driving everywhere, help everybody out a little bit. But I'd prefer to be all together on the set, you know, so we'll see how that works out.
If you have multiple locations, you could do a movie within a movie. One location could be the movie that the other people are watching.
Yeah.
If you just show it on, like, do a green screen for a little while and then put them together. But that depends what we get.
Yeah. It's going to be it's an open concept, so we don't know what we're going to do till that night. So let's just relax for now, but be prepared. Paperwork stuff. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you.
All right.
guys.
Make sure you guys that are watching, just make sure you tune in to the page that we have. It's in the chat here, but if you don't have the chat, reach out to me. You can go to ShawnPGreene.com, and I'll have all my social media there. You can contact me, and, you know, my phone number, whatever, is all on there. So just go ahead and contact me through that at this point. And Jordan Lima also knows me, so if you want to just contact Jordan to contact me, that's fine too. But I'm on Facebook. You can't miss me. I'm one of the more handsome ugly people on social media. All right, guys, love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We're gonna have some fun this year again. Wait
All
till
right, I'll-
everybody else goes. Yeah, you
What's
can,
that?
you can turn it off and just send me the recording if you want, whenever.
Okay.